On Wednesday nights, my take, Rosh Ya'acob ben Abraham attempts to answer questions from several videos sent to him by subscribers just like you. Each answer will come from the wisdom of the sages and the light of the Torah. The video, which is in question tonight, comes from Brother Duane, from the Samba Journeys Channel. Rosh Ya'acob will thoroughly go through this video to answer all of the pending questions that has been probing Brother Duane's mind for years, such as why should we learn Hebrew?
They say Mishpachah, you say Mishpachah. They say Khan, you say Khan. They observe certain days, you observe certain days. I mean, it's just uncanny how it's just you're literally are copying and walking step by step with the very people that you call fake.
Why do we need to know the customs that we see the Ashkenazim practicing?
It amazes me that if they're so fake, why do Hebrews spend so much time trying to mimic someone that's fake? It makes no sense.
Why is the land of promise such an important factor within our way of life?
Going into the early 60s, there was a group out of, I want to say Chicago, and who said, you know what, we're done here as Hebrews, this is Babylon, we got to get up out of here, right? So they initially they moved to it was a group of them that initially moved to West Africa, right? So they went to West Africa, they stayed there for a little bit, but from what I understand, if you listen to their testimony, they said, man, it just was not working out for them at all. So they ended up in the state of Israel, and that was like in the mid to late 60s.
And finally, what are the origins of being a West African Jew?
If you go back to the history of the Hebrew movement here in the United States, which started around like in the late 1800s and going into the early 1900s, it goes a little bit back a little bit further than that. It didn't start exclusively here in the United States. It actually started in the Caribbean, and then it made a jump here where it started taking more form.
Rosh Ya'acob will give his take on all of these matters to see how they weigh according to the Torah. So, please join us as we delve into the Torah text and hear from the words of the sages themselves.
But yet your movement was funded, seed funded by these people. You cannot separate that. I mean, you just can't. So it brings a lot of questions to people who are really wanting to know the answers to the, things that just don't add up.
Shalom, 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 everyone. Thank you all for patiently waiting. I wanted to make sure everything was just right for you all. Welcome to another episode of My Take with Rosh Ya'acob. I am your host, Rosh Ya'acob ben Abraham, and Rabbi of Gethsemane Spiritual Temple Congregation. On this channel, we focus on different situations and issues and topics that come up, and we look at it from a Torah perspective. I'm excited about the show tonight. Put a lot of time into this, so we're going to jump right into it. This was first, before we get into it, because I don't want to lose sight, because I'm so excited. I got to give a shout out to our sponsor, AOC. Got to give a shout out to our sponsors, AOC. Constantly providing the gear and stuff that I'm wearing. I was trying to figure out a way where you guys can be able to see it and see the AOC being represented. And just big up to brother Alex. He's doing big things over there. And got his description in the for any of his merch is in The address and all that stuff for his merch and how you can contact him to get it is in our description for the video. So you can look right down there. AOC stands for the art of clothing. The art of clothing. And he got a lot of different things that they got. And he's keeping me fresh to death so that I can come on here and be on point with you guys. So again, big up, big up, big up to him. And I don't want to lose sight of everything, so I'm going to go ahead and get in this commercial so we can just jump right into what we're going to talk about tonight, because it's a lot. As y'all seen from that introduction, it's a lot going on, and we're going to tackle all of those things hopefully tonight, and we won't have to do a part 2. We're going to tackle all of those things. All right, so we're back. We want to jump right into it as we see our brother Duane has a lot of questions, and we're going to jump right in and answer all those questions for him. I wish I would have seen his stuff sooner. I could have gave him an answer, and you'll see what we're going to be talking about as we get into the conversation with our brother. All right, so go ahead and get into this. Check our brother out and really get into this situation with him.
Yeah, we're going to talk about something that we have talked about on this platform for a very long time. For those of you who have followed this platform, many of you are very well familiar with the fact that my wife and I, we used to be part of the Hebrew movement here in the United States. Okay. And that was after we came out of Christianity. We went into the Hebrew movement, and we were in it for some time, but then, we kept on researching and looking at things on ourselves, you know what I mean? And asking questions and doing all of that.
So first, big up to him for seeing the need to get out of Christian. Big up to him for that, being able to see the need for that. And coming towards the Hebraic way of life. It must have been something that drew him there. But unfortunately, from what you're going to hear from him, he was in a camp, and I can guess which one of these camps he was in. But he was in a camp, and he didn't like the things that was happening in this camp, but he began to question everything about it. And unfortunately, there was no one in his camp that could give him an answer to his questions. So and y'all know I'm big on that. I'm big on answering your question. You got a question, I got answers. We going to get into it. We going to flush it out. And as you see, he's going to start going into a lot of things that I could have really helped him with. And I just like, dang, man, I didn't know you. If I would have knew you and knew what was going on, I sure enough would have gave you an answer to your questions. But you wouldn't have had to feel like there's nobody out here that can answer your question.
And we started seeing that things just weren't adding up. In fact, we felt that in many ways, we left Christianity only to come back to it. It was just a different flavor of it. And so we said, you know what, this ain't for us. And we left. And the whole time we documented all of that. And so if you're not aware, I would encourage you to go to the front page of our YouTube channel. I have a whole playlist that shows you how we have detailed and walked step by step by step, and how we deconstructed, if you will, that's the word now, out of the Hebrew construct matrix.
Now, this is the thing. And I'm definitely going to look at all his videos he's deconstructing out, because I believe it was probably a lot of, you want to see how simply I answer these different questions. He got these different things he's saying. And I'm going to look at all the stuff that he's saying. So just like G Will the Hebrew is somebody that we'll be looking at doing our questions and answers Wednesday. We'll also be looking at our brother Duane here, because they got a lot of stuff that they're asking questions about that, you know, maybe some of you out there might have these same questions, right? You know, some of you out there might feel like you want to know, why does this happen? Why does that happen? Why does it seem this way? Why does it seem that way, right? So I want to be able to answer those questions so that when you all do have those questions, you'll have an answer to them. You'll be able to look back and say, you know what? This brother gave me some answers to these questions that I had. So that's basically what I want to be able to do. So big up to our brother Duane as he ventures on with these questions he's going to ask, and we're going to go into it from there.
And in fact, that's what it's called, leaving the Hebrew matrix. So if you're interested in that, go check that out, okay? But
Definitely.
There were numbers of things that we saw, you know, just on our own, that it just wasn't adding up. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
and so, yeah, so we just laid it out there. If you're interested, just go check that out. This video, it's going to touch on because we've done, when I tell you, we've done a lot of videos on the Hebrew stuff. We've done a ton. There are videos I've just taken down myself. I've just done so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But in this video, what we're going to talk about is two stories that prove yet again a point that I have been making for years, and that is what we call the Hebrew movement, regardless if you're here in the States or somewhere else, is actually deeply rooted and grounded in the state of Israel and the people who run the state.
Now, this is something that he's saying. He said is deeply grounded and rooted in the state of Israel. I can't say it's deeply grounded and rooted in the state of Israel. I could say that we're concerned about Israel because we saying we Israelites, we are West African Jews. We're supposed to be concerned with the area that we're saying was our homeland. Why wouldn't we be concerned about that? So I wish I could have really have some context with him. Maybe one day I might can do an interview with him. I might can collab. Might do a collab show where we can really talk. I really want to know more about what it is that he means as far as that statement that he made, because that's just like saying, oh, for the Native Americans and they get moved to England and then they whine about the affairs that's happening over here. And you say, well, they deeply rooted in America. Yeah, that's where they came from. Like, what are you talking about? Of course they're going to be deeply concerned about what's going on in America. Everybody that's Yisrael is concerned about what's happening in Yisrael. But maybe that's not what he means. Somebody's going to look at that, but I just feel like, of course we're going to be wanting to know what's going on over there. Like, it all has to do with prophecy, stuff within the Torah, within the Tanakh, within the Brit Kadashah, all of that stuff, right? So we're going to be concerned about it. We're not going to say, oh, I ain't worried about what's going on over there. I'm just going to worry about what's happening over here. It don't work that way. That's like telling the Ashkenazim who have family over there, hey, you guys shouldn't worry about what's going on over there. Y'all live over here in America. That don't make sense. But I'm going to see where he's going.
Of Israel. As much as people that claim to be Hebrews will say that, no, that ain't true. They're the fake people. It amazes me that if they're so fake, why do Hebrews spend so much time trying to mimic someone that's fake?
Okay.
It makes no sense. They say Mishpachah, you say Mishpachah. They say Khan, you say Khan.
All right, now this is the part that got me. He said, they say Mishpachah, you say Mishpachah. They say Khan, you say Khan. And I'm like, of course, it's the Hebrew language. Like, that's why I said, I wish, I don't understand. Whoever he had around him, y'all did him a disservice. Because he's really confused about this. He's really, really genuinely confused about this. And he's like, they say Mishpachah, you say Mishpachah. They say halakha, you say halakha. They say Torah, you say Torah. They say Shabbat Shalom, you say Shabbat Shalom. Of course, it's the Hebrew language. It's the Hebrew language. Right? So just because the Ashkenazim say the Hebrew language, that mean I shouldn't say the Hebrew language? It's the Hebrew language. Why wouldn't they want to say those terms? Certain Hebrews within the community, just dealing with something that I know of, they like to gravitate to certain terms because it gives them a sense of of what was taken from them, having it back. Say it was some stuff that was taken, right? Let's look at this, right? It was some stuff that was taken, right? So let's look at this. This is what the brother forgetting. The brother forgetting that knowledge of self was whipped out of us. The brother is forgetting this. The brother is forgetting that we was told your name Toby. And the brother said, Kunta Kente, no boy, your name Toby. Right? He's forgetting that our identity was beaten out of us. That it was stripped from us. That's why we call ourselves black people. Black is a color. There's a lot of people that fit under that description of black people. Black is a color. Right? It's not a nationality. It's not, as this young lady said years ago, she wrote a beautiful poem. She said, there's no land called Negro land. There's no land called black land. All these lands got specific names to it. You say, well, you go African America, that's 2 continents. One continent is where you was taken from, and the other continent is where you were born. I had somebody that really broke it down. They said, you know Elon Musk? You know that guy that owns X? Owns Tesla? The richest man, what, in the world, from what they say? You know, he's considered an African American because he came from South Africa. So he came from Africa. He's in America, African American. So I think the brother forgot about that. And all this getting of wisdom and knowledge that him and his wife went on a journey. Hopefully, as I'm tagging him in this video, Hopefully he gets it and he sees it, and maybe we can do some conversating and talk about it, have a dialogue on the issue, on both our channels, on his channel, on my channel, or whatever. We can dialogue and build. That'll be a wonderful thing, right? Because I really feel like when I hear the brother, I hear the sincerity in him. I don't feel like he talks about how some people want to attack him. I don't feel like he's out doing this for malicious reasons. I feel as though he really wants to know. That's why I said, when I seen the video and I came across it, I said, you know what? I gotta address this, because this brother's bringing out a lot of points, and he got a lot of people following him, and they really looking at what he's saying, and I gotta address this. Brother, our language, our thought patterns, all of these things was taken from us, right? It was whipped from us. It was whipped from us, brother. So, of course, when we see other people doing what we know we're supposed to be doing, we're going to cling to that. We're going to say, wait a minute, that's what I should be doing. We're not going to say, well, they doing it, I don't want nothing to do with it because they doing it. That's that Democrat ideas of how they deal with Trump, right? I heard many Democrats, I'm not going to talk to Trump because if I was thirsty and needed a glass of water, I wouldn't even ask him for a glass of water. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Do you not realize that Dr. King and others dealt with racist people that didn't like them, and they still said, we need this, we need that? They didn't say, hey, that guy's racist, I'm not even going to talk to him about anything that I need. That sounds stupid. But yet, that's the generation, because they don't know history, that we see within us. What's the same situation with this? If they say shalom, and we know shalom is Hebrew, and it's a Hebrew welcoming, it means peace, it means hi, it means bye. We know it means all these things. Why aren't we going to use it? Because they use it? Right? He's going to talk about the practices that's in the Torah that says, keep the Shabbat, keep the holy days, keep Pesach, all of these different things. He's going to say, why are you guys doing that? If they're doing it and they not real white, what are you talking about? See, he studied the history, but he didn't study the history. We gonna go there. We gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? He studied the history, but he ain't really get the history down pat. He ain't get it down pat. So I'm gonna let the brother continue.
They observe certain days, you observe certain days.
Of course.
It's just uncanny how it's just, you're literally are copying and walking step by step with the very people that you call fake.
Now, again, this is what he don't understand. And I want to help him with this, because a lot of people don't understand this, right? Let's do this. So I want to go to Sephiria. I want to show y'all something that's in Sephiria. So I'm going to go to the Sephiria library. Again, this is library that you all can access. Now, Sephiria library, I want to go to, I believe it's in a liturgy. And this is not something I plan to go to. I plan to talk about I planned to talk about these guys, but I wasn't planning on going to the book because I would have had it already open for y'all for when we got here. I'm not sure where it is found. Let me see. Maybe it said this. Yep, here we go. See this right here? This is called Kuzari, right? Kuzari, I'm going to read from right here. Kuzari is a text. It was written by Rav Yehuda Halevi, right? This guy was a brother. He was in Spain. It was originally written in Arabic. It describes how the king of the Khazars, an Asian tribe that converted to Judaism in the 8th century. I'm right here. It says, an Asian tribe that converted to Judaism in the 8th century. This is in Sepharia. This is a Jewish site. And this Jewish site is telling us that some people in the 8th century, so that's 700 something AD or CE, depending on how you want to look at it, converted to Judaism. That means these people, there was a Turkish tribe. They got an Asian tribe, but in Asia, they mean it from Turkey, that part of Asia. From Turkey, a Turkish tribe. They converted to Judaism. You want to find out more about this? You can go to Sepharia. They got it right here. We got it's 5 chapters broken down, and each chapter will break it down and get it even deeper, right? If you want to know even more about it, I will find you a book, or you can look up a book. This book is called The 13th Tribe, and I actually got a video where I talk about this book called The 13th Tribe and talk about how the man who wrote the book was assassinated because he wrote it. And he exposed this to people that didn't know. You see, a lot of people didn't know that a lot of people didn't know about the Khazars. They didn't know about the conversion. But as we see, this is a historical text, a Jewish text. So it's not something written by some crackpot that just want to attack people and be against people. No, this is from the horse's mouth. Talking about some people that converted in the 8th century to Judaism. And what was astounding about it was because the whole nation, not just a few people here and there, the whole nation converted. The whole nation began to study Torah. The whole nation was taught Talmud. See, what the brother don't know is that Talmud, the Mishnah and the Gemara, the Mishnah was written in 200 AD, which would have been the 3rd century, 200 something AD, right? Between the 2nd and 3rd century is when the Mishnah, which is the main part of the Talmud, was written down. Originally, the Mishnah or oral law was not supposed to be written down. See, this is the history that the brother needs, because he don't understand these things. He's just looking at it because unfortunately he ran into some brothers from a camp. They don't know these things, so when he asked these things, they couldn't tell him. He got frustrated. Him and his wife said, "Oh, this worse than Christianity, and we out of here." And then they made a whole bunch of videos trying to help other people get out, deconstruct, as he said, deconstruct out of this knowledge, because no one could give them these answers. The Mishnah was written down around 200 something AD. It was put together by our last Sanhedrin, which was headed by Yehuda Hanasi. Yehuda the Prince, right? So that's how that came to be. This is way before the Khazars converted. Now, you might be like, well, why are we worrying about the Khazars? Because according to Kostler, who wrote the book, the 13th Tribe, he exposed how the majority of Jewry today, from the Ashkenazi perspective, was part of those converts. Now, I can't say that you aren't the real thing to that degree, right? And you might be like, what you mean? Torah says that you cannot remind someone the day of their conversion. Now, you might be like, what are you talking about? I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you guys this. Now, this is where's this verse at? I want to show you this. It's talking about it, but it's not giving me the verse. I believe it's in what, Yikra. Let me see. Let me see. So you have it in Exodus. So I'm gonna go to Exodus. And I'm doing this because I feel like this is important, because the brother doesn't have an idea about this, and he's saying a lot of things that are dangerous, and he feels like he knows what he's saying, and he doesn't. I really want to get to the crust of this. You know what? So I'm gonna go to Sephiria. Go back to Sephiria. Shemot 22. So it says it should be Shemot 22, verse 20. So Shemot 22, verse 20. You shall not wrong or oppress a stranger. So let's see what they said is wronging or oppressing a stranger. All right. So one way, oh, y'all can't see what I'm looking at. My bad. Let's go to Sephiria. I'm thinking y'all can see what I'm saying. All right, so I went to the verse in Sephiria, right? And again, I love Sephiria because you can click on it. You can get right to the different sources. So this is Rashi. It says, Wagar lo tuna, right? And it means do not vex him with words, referring to the fact that he's a stranger. So in other words, you're not to remind him that you can't vex him by saying, you're a stranger. You're not really, you're blah, 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 right? I know a lot of us feel that way. People want to just expose and say this, that, and the other. But the masses of the people are not the problem. And I had to talk to a sister about that before. It's not the masses of the people. The situation is leadership that knows. The leadership knows. Leadership is doing this. Not the masses of the people. The masses of the people is just regular people like me and you. Well, it says, you shall not wrong or vex or oppress a stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Right? So that's another. So let's see how he says it. When a stranger commits himself not to worship idols, you shall not wrong him in your country because you are more powerful than he. Now this is crazy, right? Especially in light of what we see happening right now. Look what it said. Hold on, let me see if I can move it down so y'all can see it. Look at what it said. In light of what's happening right now, look what it says. This is Ibn Ezra. When a stranger commits himself not to worship idols, you shall not wrong him in your country because you are more powerful than he. Remember that you were strangers like him. When scripture makes mentions of strangers who is powerless, it simply takes the note of the orphan and the widow who are powerless Israelites. After saying lo te anu, you shall not afflict, which is in a plural, scripture says im tenene, if you afflict. Because whoever sees a person afflicting an orphan and a widow and does not aid them is considered an afflictor. So they said if you see somebody afflicting somebody, you don't protect to stop it, you are afflictor, right? Let's see what Ramban says. Let's see what Ramban says. There's no reason why all strangers from countries outside the land of Egypt should be included here because of our having been strangers in the land of Egypt. And there's no reason why they are assured forever against being wronged or oppressed because we were strangers there. Now he's going to say what Rashi says. Now Rashi explained that this is a reason for the prohibition against annoying a stranger. Elohim warned against vexing him with words. For if you vex him, he can also vex you by saying you also descended from strangers. Do not reproach your fellow man with a fault which is also in you. All right. Remember that you were strangers. The correct interpretation appears to be that he is saying, do not wrong a stranger or oppress him, thinking as you might that none can deliver him out of your hand, For you know that you were strangers in the land of Egypt, and I saw the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppress you, and I avenge your cause on them, because I behold the tears of such who are oppressed and have no comforter. On the side of their oppressors there is power, and I deliver each one from him that is too strong for him. Likewise, you shall not afflict the widow and the fatherless child. Right? So, also, y'all know me, I always use the Taryag mitzvot. So I want to see if the Taryag mitzvot brings any light to that as well. So, got it right here. Taryag. Get into it. Taryag mitzvot. Which just means 613 commandments. And this is from Parashat Mishpatim. That's what this is talking about. And this is what it says. And this is how it's broken down in the Taryag mitzvot. It says an proselyte. So you know what a proselyte is, right? A proselyte is someone who converts. So it's saying a convert, a proselyte. And a proselyte you shall not annoy or agitate. Essence. And this is mitzvah 63. And it's the prohibitive commandment 33. Remember, the book breaks it down well. You got 613 mitzvot, 248 of them are positive, 365 are negative. Now, look at what it says. We are forbidden to oppress or agitate or shame a proselyte. In other words, a goy who converts to Judaism, even with words. So, we cannot shame him with our words. Can't do that. In other words, we can't remind him of the day of it. Remember, you was a convert. Remember, you converted. Remember, you was a convert. Dude, this is not really you. Oh, I try to tell we gotta really watch that, because Torah tells us not to do that. You know what it says, right? One who transgresses this prohibition is simultaneously violating the commandment, a man shall not mistreat his fellow or his neighbor. One of the reasons for this mitzvah is due to the concern of a convert, lest he return to his former ways on account of being insulted and disgraced. So, in other words, the insight behind this, reason why they say don't do that to a convert, because you might send them back into their ways, you know, and that's going to be on you. So I feel what he says, right? But I think we got to also know and understand that this was a big conversion, right? These people was given the oracles of the Torah. And guess what? As we was sold and sent here with the code 66, if you know anything about Star Wars, you understand what I'm saying. Code 66, right? Well, code 66 is when the Jedis got betrayed by the very people, which was the clones that they thought was on their side the whole time. The very people they thought was on their side the whole time betrayed them. So I'm going to leave that part alone. But I just want to point out that when we went into exile and seemingly lost everything, guess who didn't lose everything? Guess who still was keeping Torah and keeping mitzvot? They were. So now when we come back to knowledge of self, why am I not going to pick back up the mantle that was laid down? Our ancestors feared this. This was the whole fear for writing down the oral law, which wasn't supposed to ever be written down. The fear was one day we're going to be in an exile that's going to be so bad that we're going to lose all knowledge of self. So they said, let's write down these things lest they be lost. So they wrote them down so they wouldn't lose them. So why am I now going to pick back up the mantle of who I am and say, bump them writing that stuff down? They doing that. That's them now. I'm gonna make up my own stuff. I'm not making up my own stuff. What are you talking about? Make up my own stuff. That is my own stuff. So when he says, you keeping days that they keep, of course, you speaking Hebraic words that they're speaking. Of course. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to make up some new stuff out the blue. Oh, yeah. We going to make up the stuff that they doing, they got from us. It was whipped out of us. Why are we not going to keep it? Why are we going to let it go? Did that make any kind of sense? So when he said that, I said, somebody should have been there to aid the brother. Say, brother, they got it from us. Of course we're going to take it back and get into it. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? That don't even make sense. We just come up with our own new things? No. That's not how that works. So it's not trying to copy or mimic them. It's laying hold onto the Torah and the oracles of the Torah that we pass down to them. And now that we are awakening, then we grab it back. That's what it is. I remember when I got into understanding who I was after my grandfather had that talk with me. And I didn't know nothing about a Matthew Wentworth. I ain't know nothing about any of these people. I found out about them like 15 years later after I was in the life. And somebody began to talk to me about them on Facebook. And I was like, who? Who are you talking about? Who's that? I don't know them. And then I began to read and learn about it. I was happy. I said, wow, some other people felt the same way I felt. That motivated me even more. I didn't say, dang, if it wouldn't have been for them, I wouldn't have been here. Yeah, I would have been here. It had nothing to do with them. I don't know them. My grandfather didn't know them. So anyway, that's what I said. Like, so when I hear the brother say that, I'm just like, what do you mean? Were we not supposed to gravitate back to what was ours because some other people doing it? That don't even make sense. Then you say the holy days. Ain't the holy days in the Bible? So why are we reading the Bible then? Hey, are we even reading the Bible? Is that how we going to run it or play that? So yeah, so we got the Khazars. I read about, we seen what the Khazaria says. We're going to go somewhere else. Let's look at the Khazars, right? It says, and this is from the AI. This is from AI. All right, I'm going to let you see what AI says. Everybody love AI so much. Let's see what AI says. Love AI. AI. Yandele, IA. Uh-oh. Woman in the night. Yandele, IA. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Let me let this down a little bit. No, that's not working. Go back to Safari. Try to see if I can put it on another page, but I'm going to do it on the Safari. Look what it says, everybody. This from AI, right? The Khazars were a nomadic Turkic people. I said Turkish? When they say Asian is that part of Asia where Turkey is located. Turkey is located in Asia, so that's why they said Asia. Try to throw you off, but Turkey. Right, this is a Turkish people. And they established a commercial empire in the late 6th century. They were one of the first groups to convert to Judaism, and their story has been used in the anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Now, they said it's been using anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, right? And some people may have used it that way. But for what we're looking at, we're just going to look at it for what it is. And again, this is what AI is telling us, right? AI says the history. The Khazars were a confederate of tribes from the Caucasus, including Slavic, Scandinavian, Hunnic, Bulgar, Iranian, Elas, and Turkish. They established a major commercial empire in southeastern part of modern European Russia, southern Ukraine, Crimea, and Kazakhstan. In the 8th century, the Khazars converted to Judaism. That's what we're talking about. So whatever plot, whatever, they try to add that in there to throw the twist, but the AI still can't deny the facts. This is what happened. So it's not a conspiracy. This is what happened. The AI said this is what happened. So the AI lying? I guess AI can lie, right? So Rabbi Yehuda ben Levi, Halevi is lying on a Jewish site? That's a lie? Let's keep it going. In the 8th century, the Khazars converted to Judaism, and many Jews from the Byzantine Empire and Caliphate migrated to the Khazar Empire. All right, so we see what it says right there, and this is stuff that people use. But again, if you convert it and you keep in Torah and you practicing, my only issue is when Yisrael returns and you snub your nose at them, because you know Torah like I know Torah, and you know halakha like I know halakha. You know that it's forbidden. It's forbidden for me to be in a Knesset and you to walk up to me and say, when did you convert? How long has it been since you converted? You can't do that. That's breaking halakha. But I love when people do that, because I look them right in the eye and say, they convert. I'm born of a Jewish mother. And they don't know what to say. It's like, what? And I look at him and say, said I didn't convert. I'm born of a Jewish mother. Oh, I had to tell Laz. Remember Laz? I'm going to always bring Laz up. We got to remember Laz. Laz, help me go viral again, Laz. Where you at? Remember Laz? Laz came on here talking all that smack. And once I said what I said to her, Laz got off here and disappeared because she knew that I know. So I wish the brother would have came and talked to me. But yeah, we gonna get into what he's saying. We'll get into what he's saying. I'm running out of time. I want to at least try to get some more stuff in from what the brother is saying, and then from there, we're going to just close out with our artist of the week. So let me go back to the brother. So here go the brother right here.
There are even when you go to the more Orthodox Hebrew synagogues, many of them you'll find like in places like New York City. These synagogues, well, they have a very interesting history. Number one, if you go back to the history of the Hebrew movement here in the United States.
Yeah, so we're going to come back to this because this is going to take us on a different thing. Because his history of the Hebraic movement in the United States and the actual history of the Hebraic movement in the United States is two different things altogether. Two different things altogether. So this is going to take us all the way. So I already knew I got a bunch of stuff up. I knew I was going to go a bunch of different places. So I'm like, I know I'm saying some controversial things that some brothers and sisters going to be upset with me about saying, but it is what it is. We got on this channel, we're about Torah and Halakha and understanding that the knowledge that our sages passed down to us. So I gotta make sure we get that out there. So even though I might want to just this, that, and other, I gotta make sure. So we gonna come back next week and finish dealing with our brother Duane. We gonna come right back to this part of it where he's talking right here. And I'm going to show you where the history or the origin really happened. Because it happened way before that. It actually happened with us coming to here in the first place. And I'm going to show that. So like I said, he had a lot of questions and stuff that he wanted answered. And I got the answers for him. We're going to present the answers for him. Hopefully you guys tune back in next week. Thank you for making this an excellent show. I know it was late. I got on a little late tonight. Some people probably thought I wasn't getting on. But I wanted to make sure everything was perfect and just right. So yeah, coming back next week. Going to deal with this issue and break this down. Tomorrow is Rules of Engagement Thursday. Tomorrow we're going to get into relationships. We'll talk about different subjects with that. That's what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. So hopefully you guys will be able to log on tomorrow and see that. Greatly appreciate y'all for logging on tonight. And we got our artist of the week. We got a new artist of the week, Brother McCullough. He was referred to me by one of our viewers, Brother Next Section. Good brother. Check out his YouTube page if you get a chance. And he sent me this guy and he said, check him out, brother. I'm sure you're gonna love him. And he was correct. I loved his music. So here we go with our artist of the week.
Open up the book of life, read from me. I don't understand it, don't lean on it. My sight didn't fake it, death, Machiavelli died, but Yahushua, what, he's coming. But rather than all the prophets, heal the deaf, dumb, blind, be the reason why. That's the end of poverty. Can't wait to see my friend. That's my best friend. When I wasn't on, but they knew I'm not, so I made a business. When it come to him, I knew a lie. Like Abraham, father of many nations. Isaac, Jacob, wake up Jacob, wake up Jacob, wake up Jacob. Roar like the Lion of Judah, how praise, hallelujah. Roar like the Lion of Judah, how praises, hallelujah. Such amazing grace, the Savior wretch like I. You ain't never had a friend like Yah, and neither have I. You ain't never had a friend like Yah, and neither have I.
That joint, I like that joint. That joint catchy. You ain't never have a friend like you never had a friend like Yah. Neither have I. Like, wow, I like that. I like that. All right, so that's our brother McCullough. Got his information in there in the description. So please support that brother. It's our artist of the week. Check out his music. Got his SoundCloud and all his other Spotify, all the other places you can find his information. So please help support our brother. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all again. Thank y'all so much for watching us tonight and being on here. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that definitely is a vibe. Yeah, I like that joint. Yeah. Yeah, shalom, shalom, Makoti. I'm glad you was on there. I don't know how much you got to hear. I tried to give a lot of knowledge out to our brother Duane. I'm going to talk about him some more next week. Or talk about his information some more next week. So we can get him some answers to the questions. And I'm putting an invitation out there to him. If he want to sit and have a conversation with me, that could be my first collaboration on YouTube. And me and that brother sit there and talk, because he said something about how different he break. People tried to carry him because of what he was saying. And I'm not them. I ain't going to try to carry you out. You know, I like to answer questions. I like to really have conversations. As you know, Akoti, you know how I did. I'm for it. So we could definitely set something up like that. That would be awesome. You know, I'm definitely for it. Definitely would love to see that take place and happen. All right, but anyway, thank you each and every person for logging on and hanging out with me thus far. Layla Tova Koti, thank you for logging on as well. And again, everyone, I will talk to you all on tomorrow. Rules of Engagement Thursday. All right. Hey, you say yes, I know. Hey man, yeah, y'all know that's what I said, brother. Want to contact me? You know, we can have a dialogue. I don't mind dialoguing with people. It won't even be a debate unless you're a combative person that want to argue. But if you want to have a conversation, we can really sit and break bread and talk. I'm right there. I'm for it. I'm for it. If y'all know people that's out there and y'all say, I want him to talk to this brother or this sister, let them hit me up. I'm for it. You know, Mondays and Wednesdays are always open. You know, where we can get into that. At any rate, again, Layla Tov to everyone, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Shalom. Shema Israel.